Hi everyone, and welcome to my review and episode ranking of An Idiot Abroad Series 3. So yes, we are back once again ready to discuss An Idiot Abroad, and Karl Pilkington of course on the channel. This time around, the shortwave round from 2012. So the final series of An Idiot Abroad. We've been going through in the last couple of months, of course, on the channel, An Idiot Abroad 1 and 2, and obviously reviewing those and ranking the episodes as well. And of course, today we'll talk about the third entry. Of course, this is a shorter series, so there'll be just 3 episodes that I'll be ranking today. I won't be including the fourth, director's commentary, that came out a bit later in that ranking. It'll just be the 3 main episodes, of the series, and we'll be obviously reviewing this and then ranking those, towards the second half of the video. So, I look forward to that, and certainly less episodes than the previous 2 series, but this was the one that I did look forward to rewatching, and recently finished it, of course. So yes, there'll be a spoiler warning, for this series, of course. If you haven't seen this, I'd simply recommend seeing it first and then come back to the video, because we'll be going into what happens in this, in the particular episodes, and we want to kind of ruin the series for you before you've already seen it. So yes, with all that said, let's discuss my thoughts on this series, and this one I do love. Once again, I love Idiot Broad Series 1 and 2, but this one is very different, I must say. While it kind of has similarities between, obviously, Idiot Broad 1 and 2 as well, I think it is obviously very different, being shorter, being with Warwick Davis as well, who I love, in this, series, and just the kind of combination of the two, it's just brilliant. And so I did see this when it first aired, in 2012. So I just turned 16, kind of a few months before this, late 2012. This was airing, and of course, it was a nice return to see, Karl again. And I was kind of hearing about this before it released. I was thinking that'd be interesting. I was quite sad, hearing that it wouldn't be, too many episodes really, just the 3 episodes mainly, of this, and that was sad to me. And obviously, we did hear the news, around this, that Karl wasn't going to be doing any more. This would be the final one of An Idiot Abroad, of course. Obviously, he did do the Moaning of Life and all this, which is great to see. But An Idiot Abroad, this was the final one, and obviously Warwick Davis just joined Karl. So it's a different one. It's not just kind of going back once again to around the world just with Karl, which would have been great for me. But we have this kind of interesting dynamic between the two, and I think actually watching it again, it has grown on me, this one, and I do really love. I love all the episodes once again, and they're just hilarious, and a very different feel that we have of this. At first we have a bit more bickering between the two, and we have kind of, as we go throughout the episodes, more of a bond that is formed. So it's very unique. It's not just Karl meeting people on his own. He is kind of going along with Warwick. So it's kind of this back and forth, as we go throughout all the episodes, and it's not, as I say, Karl does meet. They do meet, different characters, individuals, of course, along the way. But it's very different because we have them kind of this team, and it's kind of very interesting because they do argue throughout, the episodes, but they do have this kind of bond that they form, and it's quite warm. So it's complex in that sense, and obviously as well, we have Stephen Merchant was not, involved in this series, which was quite interesting. It's just Ricky, and in terms of the two of them, and he was elsewhere doing other projects, and we do have the briefing once again, but it is just in the first episode with Ricky, and that is them going off on the adventure. They didn't, kind of include, a briefing in that sense before each episode began. So that's quite interesting, and it is a very nice adventure feel. Once again, it's quite different. We have, of course, the two kind of going on this adventure together, where we have them kind of loosely recreating, Marco Polo, his adventure from Venice to China. So it is quite interesting, and I think it's unique. Even though they do go to India and China again, obviously Karl had been, in Series 1 to those locations. It is very different, in the way it's done, put together in a sense. We do have obviously similarities, the music as well. Vic Sharma once again doing the score to this, which is great. I love the score. And some obviously new kind of compositions here, and returns to Series 1 and 2 as well. So it's great, kind of the mix of this, and I find at times, we've got hints at Idiot Abroad Series 1 and 2, but it is very different, very unique, and I enjoyed the element, and I just really love seeing it again, just a reminder of how, I love just the interactions between the two of them, and I think really that is just more interesting as we go throughout, the series, and between the two of them, in episode 3, that is when it's probably actually most interesting, and have, I guess, more arguing there, between the two of them, but it is also more kind of uplifting in the end, and I do love that, and the way it ends, of course, on episode 3, that final moment there, and we have the montage. I absolutely love that moment, and it's just even though it's very short, this series it's this kind of nice adventure we've gone on. And I think this is a very surprising series actually, in the sense that we have the kind of attempts, perhaps for Warwick to be the one that is kind of more outgoing and wants to try out all the different things along the way, the food, and do all these activities where obviously we thought Karl would be potentially kind of moaning again more and not really wanting to take part in all this stuff, and just kind of struggling more, but it is actually interestingly, Warwick, who has a tougher time with this, and it's kind of interesting because we have in a charming way, kind of Karl, teasing Warwick, and because Karl's actually done this, kind of before, 2 times he's gone around the world, different locations. He's eaten all this food, he's done all this, crazy stuff, and it's kind of him who is now, the more experienced one, and Warwick, is kind of, I guess you could say, with all respect, he's naive, in certain ways, with what he kind of is expecting, from when they're going to different locations, meeting different people, and the actual outcome, is quite, shocked at times, and it's kind of Karl who is the one who has, kind of experienced this, and he's kind of trying to warn Warwick at times, not to be so naive, and it's kind of Warwick who, is struggling more, but it's done in a way that is warm, is charming, and I just think, it is hilarious, but it's got that kind of interesting, core to it, when we have Warwick, it's kind of his first series, of course, and obviously the last, but I think it's nice to see how Warwick is kind of going through more of this journey, from between the episodes, and he's learning more, about different parts of the world and how he's experiencing them, and perhaps his I guess his what he was thinking beforehand, it's kind of different to what he kind of realizes, in his own unique way. So it's kind of interesting in that sense, and we do have just that as well. At the same time, we have Karl, Warwick arguing, feuding throughout, kind of shouting at each other, and getting annoyed at each other throughout. But I think in the end, it's really nice. They do have that bond they formed, through this, and it's just really great series in that sense. Quite unexpected. I thought when it was first airing, I thought this would probably be more of a bonus series, and it kind of is. In some ways, I guess you could look at it like that. It's a very short one compared to the others. Obviously, 8 episodes each in those ones, 7 each, in terms of the actual true episodes, where Karl's kind of going, out and about. But I think, being 3, so less than half of that, I think it is just a one that I thought it probably wouldn't be, too much in this. How could they kind of pack in all this, content? But they did actually, and I think Ricky, just his influence on this, is so great, and I think the idea to have these two, Warwick and Karl together, really made for a very interesting series, and the dynamic, and just the kind of individually the two, I guess, personalities, how they clash at times, and how they do have, kind of moments where they kind of agree with each other, and they're kind of in it together. I guess, so it's a very complex series, and much shorter, but it does have a lot going on, and I just love all the episodes really, to this, and I think it's just very nice to see, these two going on this journey together. Obviously, Karl once again is going through things, in this, but it's more Warwick individually who is going on this journey that he hasn't been on before, and I think just having Karl and Warwick together is just great, and so many hilarious moments, in this throughout, and just different, again, individuals they meet, different, kind of characters and stuff, which was great once again, no less hilarious in this, and just throughout, the entire, series. I think the flow of it was very nice. I like how we have episode 2 kind of ending, and then 3 carries on from where 2 left off, in India, and then they go to China. So it's got a nice flow to it, nice structure that is unique, but it is, a familiar feeling in the sense that we've got the variety of the different locations that we're seeing, Karl and Warwick go about. So it's, it's kind of similar, but it is very unique, and I do commend the series for that. So now I'll be ranking the episodes of this series from least favourite to favourite. Once again, episode 4 will not be included. That is just commentary, but the 3 main episodes I'll be ranking, and again, love all these 3 episodes in their own way, but I do have an ordering here. So yes, at number 3 we have episode 1, Venice and Macedonia. This one I do love. First time around seeing it, I thought it wasn't the best. There was some moments where I wasn't huge on it, but I think the more I've rewatched this, seen it probably three or four times, total now. I think, and recently seeing it again, I do love this one, and it's just a very unique one. We have a lot of dressing up, masquerade balls and all this, and going through streets of Venice. It's really hilarious, and I think the highlight for me is probably the jetpack sequence where Karl is trying to do the water jetpack, and I think this is just so funny, and just the way it's probably the most angry, really, frustrated Karl's ever really been, perhaps in the entire show, actually, in a certain way, and just his reaction, when it doesn't work out, it's just it's like he's getting drowned in the water there, and just he can't, kind of get out of the water and actually, rise up on the jetpack, and it just completely goes all wrong, and it just getting more and more frustrated, as it goes on, and it's so funny, and him getting dragged back to the boat and all this, it's just so funny, and I think that's probably the highlight for me, and just there's Karl's the aggression on his face, and his reactions are priceless, and he wanted to do that, and it didn't go according to plan. Just generally the episode is very nice, a lot of kind of breezy moments, I think, and it's a nice setting to see, Venice, and as well Macedonia. It's quite interesting, but definitely my personal least favourite, of the three, just because the other two are so kind of explosive and hilarious from start to finish, and I think this one is really funny, and it's a really warm episode as well, and a nice way to start the series, but I think the other two episodes, just for me, are better and more enjoyable and investing for me personally. So number 2, we have episode 2, India. Now this one is just flat out hilarious from start to finish, and it's just epic, and I love highlights include them kind of taking part in Chingari, of course the Bollywood film. They kind of have some scenes in, and that was just absolutely brilliant, and I loved just Karl's acting there, and Warwick as well. We have a kind of clash of a lot of things going on in this, and because Warwick is of course someone who likes the theatrical way of acting and all this, and Karl's obviously wanted to play it a bit more kind of low key, and it's really funny to see them actually acting the different scenes in this, and just the dancing as well in this, and all the different wacky moments, and just so funny, and seeing them on set as well, and Karl getting talked to, and laughter yoga as well earlier on. That was just a absolute standout moment, absolutely insane, and as well we have it ending on the Spider Girls, of course these sisters, and that's a really nice kind of sequence, and I really did love that, and obviously it does kind of lead in that whole kind of sequence to episode 3, where we have the beginning of that is kind of continuing on from this one, the ending of it, so that was really cool, but I think just the structure of this episode, and as well once again highlighting the kind of naivety of Brooke Davis, and kind of Karl, kind of suspecting things as well, because we have that kind of group of basically those people that are off their head, and they're absolutely just going mad around them, and Warwick is kind of very naive. He thinks just to kind of bring them over and let them all gather and talk, and it's just a really silly thing to do. And Karl was kind of onto this, and kind of warning kind of Warwick there of what was going to potentially happen, and it wasn't really safe and all this, and just the way it kind of leads into Warwick kind of learning the hard way in that sense. It was just so funny, and again the kind of dynamic there between the two of them, the difference of personalities there, and how perhaps at this point Karl was kind of more just aware of things, kind of dangers and all this, and Warwick is kind of a bit more naive in that sense, and he does realise things afterwards, but that moment when kind of he thinks everything will be nice and everyone can kind of talk and gather, it obviously didn't happen that way, and they kind of went off and got away from those people there, and just I think so many moments in this. It's just so great, this one, and just absolutely love this episode. So yes, that was at number 2. And so at number 1 we have episode 3, China. Now this one absolutely love, and it has grown on me to the point where I do now prefer this to the second episode, India, and I just think it has everything really of this series that makes it great, and I think just the way we start off, as I say, following on from the previous episode, and then they go to China, they go by plane, by the cruise as well on point, and they do the climbing of the steps as well at the end. That was just brilliant, and really uplifting, and kind of this epic journey, the ending of this, the culmination. I love the cruise ship as well. It's kind of a return to classic Karl, with him storming off at one point, because he does get given this really bad room, of course, with sharing with all these musicians, and obviously not being able to get any sleep. And Warwick, for some reason, has this private, room, and it's obviously not fair, on Karl. So there is that whole kind of disagreement there, and the kind of Karl storming, down, of course, the hallway there, and just a classic moment there. It's just so funny, and I think just we have as well for some reason Karl, throwing food at Warwick, and it's just so funny there, and you kind of get him to eat this, food, and Warwick not being able to do this. That was just one of the highlights as well, of the episode, and just I think after that, it's a bit more of a kind of once again a spiritual end, the journey they go on, and I love climbing the steps, and Warwick is really struggling, of course, and Karl and Warwick clashing there, but again, complex relationship where they do have, kind of this bond as well that's kind of really forming here, and kind of it shows, it's just a very uplifting episode, and how they do overcome this, especially Warwick, him overcoming this, and then making it in the end, and having gone on this journey, and just really satisfying to see this. Of course, I love as well, the giant panda sequence. It's just so funny, and obviously I have to kind of dress up as pandas as well, which was so insane. But great sequence there. But all the way to the ending, where I think in a way it's my favourite part, of this episode, and really of the series as well. We have them going up the tower. Karl, of course, not being aware of what was at the top. Just him thinking they're going out, and they're suiting up to go to a restaurant and have some food. Of course, Ricky has at this point texted Warwick and let him know what's going on at the top, bungee jumps and all this kind of stuff. And Karl doesn't in the end agree to do the kind of sky dive, but he does sky jump, but he does do the sky walk as well around the tower. Then both of them do that skywalk X, and they kind of just going around the tower there, and at least Karl did kind of do that. That was quite cool to see, but he didn't do the actual sky jump. Warwick did this, so that was really cool, and I thought that was really just uplifting to see Warwick do that, and the kind of his reaction to that, and just classic Karl, of course. Karl wouldn't have done that, I don't think, but just really great to see that, and just a great ending to this episode, where we have that kind of moment there, and it leads into the montage, the great montage, of course, to Somewhere, which was just a great kind of perfect choice of song there. Of course, the famous song from West Side Story, but yeah, just really great to see this montage. Just looking back on this, it kind of shows all the moments, the key moments, in all 3 episodes, and once again, kind of just reminding us of how kind of epic the journey's been, this adventure. Even though, again, 3 episodes, in this series compared to the previous 2, it's not anywhere near as much, but it is still this really great journey they've been on, and it's all kind of in one in that sense as well. This journey, as opposed to very distinct episodes in the previous 2, kind of series, where we have, I think it's really cool to see it's all kind of flowing together, and I think it was great to see that kind of montage there. Great song choice, and really epic the way it ends, and kind of leads into the credits as well, and I thought that was brilliant, and so it's a really nice, uplifting kind of epic moment to end this series on, and just that montage itself, just so great, and perfect way to end this episode. So overall, I do think this one has grown on me, to the point where I do prefer it to India, and I think so. Obviously, 1, 2, and 3. I think they get better with each episode. For the ranking, and that's my personal ranking. Of course, leave your thoughts, in the comments, on that, to see how you would rank these episodes personally. And it's really cool to do this once again, and to go through this and review this and rank as well the episodes. Really fun, and that's my thoughts. What do you think on this series? It'd be great to hear in the comments. Feel free to kind of leave your personal experience, in watching this, and how you would personally rank as well, the episodes, as I say. And for me, this series, very different, very unique, and kind of in the sense that it's the Warwick and Karl together going on. This is very short as well compared to the previous 2, and it hasn't got Stephen Merchant. A lot of the format is quite different. It is very nice to see. And it's very. I like how it is unique in the way the kind of perspectives are different, and they clash at times, but also the kind of warmth and the uplifting nature of this one as well is really really cool to see. So absolutely love this series, and I think while it's different, it is kind of at times it's got the similar feel to the previous 2 in certain ways as well, and obviously seeing Karl once again is great. So that's my thoughts on this series. Once again, we'll be now after this going through the Moaning of Life. Got that here I've got the kind of Blu-ray set here of the 1 and 2 series, and started off the other day watching episode 1, so seen that, and we'll be going through the rest of that, over time, and individually reviewing series 1, obviously ranking the episodes, and then series 2, and at the end of all that, I've said before, we're ranking all of An Idiot Abroad, series 1 and 3, and or 1 through 3, and then the Moaning of Life as well for series 1 and 2. So all 5 series of that, the 2 combined will be in one video, all of those, and separately as well. I do plan on perhaps, if I can, ranking all of the episodes together. So that will be quite fun to do, and yeah, as well. Sick of it. I'll be seeing that eventually. Very interesting to see that. I've never seen it before. Moaning of Life, I did see all of series 1 at the time, and part of series 2 as well. So it's really cool to do this. Just always great to discuss Karl, in the comments, and this is a cool one to be able to discuss the fact that it's kind of Karl and Warwick, and how that kind of changes things up, and I do love Warwick Davis as well. Just it's great to see. It's a very kind of novel series in that sense, and it'd be really cool to discuss. A pleasure as always to hear your thoughts and discuss all things Karl Pilkington in the comments. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.